I believe the New England Patriots will go 13-4 this year. They're a playoff team. They will go second in the AFC East. They just added so much talent. It is unbelievable how much better the Patriots got. They added 2 tight ends, Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry. Fantastic. That's going to be the Aaron Hernandez days alongside Gronkowski, like Rob Gronkowski, Aaron Hernandez are a long time ago now. They're probably not a fond memory because of what happened to Aaron Hernandez, but the Patriots once upon a time had 2 really fantastic tight ends. It feels like we're getting that again. Just maybe one of them isn't going to get really badly in trouble and have lots of documentaries made about him. But Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry, let's pray that doesn't happen. But they are, it's not really that funny either. I laugh because I'm uncomfortable. Anyway, this is why I script stuff really, really delicately. I like the 2 tight ends, Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry. I'm going to leave it in, though. It's kind of a fun moment of me realizing, Anyway, defensive tackle Devon Godchaux is great. Jalen Mills, a corner, came from Philly. That's another guy they added. So 2 tight ends, a defensive tackle, Jalen Mills. They added 2 wide receivers, Nelson Agholor and Kendrick Bourne. They added 2 linebackers, Matthew Judon and Kyle Van Noy. Plus, they didn't really get... Dante Hightower never left, but he did opt out last year due to COVID. He's back after a year off. They traded for Trent Brown, their new right tackle. It's funny to call him their new right tackle. He was in New England. They traded him. They got rid of him. Then they traded back for him. So Trent Brown is back in New England, going to have a great impact on their offensive line. This is a whole new team in New England. They literally upgraded everything. Now, they did lose Julian Edelman. He did retire. Pat Chung, their former safety, opted out last year, didn't come back. He ended up retiring as well. And there is some bad news in New England. Their Pro Bowl corner, Stephon Gilmore, once Defensive Player of the Year, is on the PUP list. He's recovering from an injury. He is physically unable to perform. That is what the PUP list stands for. And because of the way the PUP list works, he's going to miss at least the very first 6 weeks of the NFL season. That's a big deal. I think they can withstand that, but not having Stephon Gilmore for the early part of their schedule is going to impact them later. Now, the Patriots have a really good offensive line. Left tackle Isaiah Wynn, left guard Mike Onwenu, center David Andrews, right guard Shaq Mason, right tackle Trent Brown. This is a really, really outstanding offensive line that I have a lot of faith in. They also, by the way, added Ted Karis, a guy who can play both. He's an interior lineman. He can play center if you need him to, which is a really good asset. He can also play guard. Ted Karis is a guy who comes into New England and gives them even more depth and helps them if somebody gets hurt or misses a game or gets COVID or anything. So having Ted Karis is really, really good. They have 3 awesome running backs in New England. You have Damian Harris. James White is the guy who's kind of the scat back who catches passes out of the backfield. And then you have Ramondre Stevens. 3 really good running backs. I already mentioned their tight ends. That's a big strength of their team, having Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry. Both really, really good tight ends. And then wide receivers, on top of having Kendrick Bourne and Nelson Agholor, who they brought in, they also have Jacoby Myers, a guy I like. And then I would encourage people, keep your eye on Malcolm Perry. He's a former quarterback for the Naval Academy. And, dude, whether it's a trick play, running the ball, or they get the ball in his hands, running the football. So the trick play, throwing the ball, or trick play where he's running, end around, stuff like that. Like Malcolm Perry is capable of a lot of different stuff. He can run double passes. He can run the ball. I'm rambling here, but Malcolm Perry, man, has so many capabilities in their offense, and he's kind of a wild card that I think people should, if I'm an opposing defensive coordinator, I'm like, hey, whenever you see Malcolm Perry on the field, it could be a double pass, it could be a run to him, like keep your eye on that guy. He's a very, very dynamic athlete who's capable of many, many different things. Now, I have confidence in all these new players. I think Bill Belichick is better than anybody in the NFL at taking other teams' players, bringing them into New England, and then making them better than we've ever seen before. Because Bill Belichick has this plan. He has an idea in his head. He looks at Hunter Henry and goes, you know what? If we did this with Hunter Henry, we'll get even more out of his talent. And Bill Belichick, Nelson Agholor is a guy that has not had his best years recently, and Kendrick Bourne's not a star receiver. But guys like that are people that Bill Belichick is so good at. Like Wes Welker was not a star in Miami before he came to New England. Like there's a reason Miami let Wes Welker go. They didn't have the vision for what he could become. And so the thing Belichick does better than anybody, like I said, is scouting the other NFL teams and saying, I want that guy, I want that guy, I want that guy. I've got a plan. Here's what we can do with them. he screws up at receiving, at drafting receivers often. That's like his biggest weakness, but he's good at, and been good in the past at looking at players and other teams and saying, I can turn you into blank. That's going to happen a lot with this New England Patriots team. Now, on defense for this team, the secondary is really good. Even with Stephon Gilmore hurt, you still have J.C. Jackson, a star corner. You have two good safeties, Adrian Phillips and Devin McCourty. Plus, your other corner right now is Jalen Mills, who's still a good corner. So, like, they're even deep at corner where Stephon Gilmore can be hurt, and they still have a guy who's starting caliber quality with Jalen Mills. Now, the big story for the Patriots this year is they have a rookie quarterback, Mac Jones. Oh, my goodness. I didn't think this was going to happen so quickly. I thought Mac Jones would be good when he did play. He looked very good in the preseason, but I did not expect Mac Jones to be the week 1 starting quarterback. It makes sense. Like, he probably does give them the best opportunity to win. They've got a great team around him. The good news about Mac Jones, 2 things. I don't believe he's going to turn over the ball a lot. He's very decisive, makes good decisions. I don't know if he's going to be amazing. Like, if he plays out of his mind, he actually could win Rookie of the Year because of how good the team around him is. But he doesn't need to do that much. Like, Mac Jones, if he takes care of the ball, makes good decisions, and isn't awful, and then the defense plays really well, they're still going to win a lot of games. So the ceiling, the floor is really low with Mac Jones. The ceiling is really high. If Mac Jones is fine and does what I think he's capable of, they'll win a lot of games. If he's even better than I expect, Mac Jones could win Rookie of the Year, and the Patriots could maybe even potentially win a Super Bowl. That's how good the team is and how good Mac Jones could be. So he's also going to be way better week 17, 18. By the end of the year, Mac Jones will be a very different quarterback than we will see early on in the year. He'll take more chances. He'll get more comfortable. The Patriots will experiment more with him. So keep your eye and watch the development. Keep your eye on and watch the development of the young quarterback, Mac Jones. I want to talk about their schedule in New England because week 1, the Patriots play Miami. It's a great matchup. That is 2 former Alabama quarterbacks, Tua Tagovailoa and Mac Jones playing against each other. That's really fun. Plus, it's just a good matchup. It's good, 2 good defenses, 2 interesting receiving cores going against 2 good sets of corners. That'll be really, really fun. Week 4, there's a fantastic game where Tom Brady and the Buccaneers go to New England to play the Patriots. That'll be amazing. Now, one thing I hate about the Patriots schedule, they've got a really, really brutal bye week. It's week 14. That is when the Patriots have their bye week. That is so late in the year. It's almost unhelpful. You're like, well, we could have used a break like so long ago. You play basically an entire college football season before you get a week off, and that's crazy to me. The good news is that some of their tougher games are also not until later in the year. Like, they get the bye week, and then they play some tough games. Because remember, this is a team with new players, a new quarterback that's a rookie. As the year goes on, this Patriots team will get even better, and it's helpful that they don't play Buffalo until week 13 and week 16. It's helpful that they play at Miami week 18. Again, it's going to have playoff implications, like playing their tougher games later in the year, especially in their division against Buffalo, week 16 and week 13. That's really, really good for the New England Patriots. Again, I have the Patriots going 13-4. I feel very good about them. They will go second in their division to only the Buffalo Bills. They're a playoff team. And if Mac Jones does really, really well, they are a team that is capable of winning a Super Bowl.